January 17, 2024. Red Sea. USS Theodore Roosevelt. CVN 71. Fire Controlman Second Class Marcus Chen is staring at his Aegis display when the alarm sounds. Incoming ballistic missile. Range 47 miles. Speed Mach 5. Target: a commercial tanker carrying diesel fuel to Europe. Chen has 90 seconds. SM-2 missile away. 31 seconds later, the threat disappears. Direct hit at 25,000 feet. That tanker? It's carrying fuel that will end up in your gas tank 6 weeks from now. Marcus Chen just saved it with a $2.4 million interceptor. Now fast forward to today. USS Theodore Roosevelt is 65 miles off the Iranian coast. Same fire controlman. Same Aegis system. But Iran hasn't fired a single missile at the Roosevelt in 18 months. This is not restraint. This is mathematics. If you want to understand why Iran threatens carriers daily but never fires, hit that subscribe button. The enemy isn't Iran. The enemy is geography. Look at the map. USS Theodore Roosevelt, Carrier Strike Group 9, is operating in the Gulf of Oman, just beyond the Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. The northern coastline? 1,500 miles of Iranian territory. Missile batteries every 40 miles. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy operates from 20 dispersed bases you can't see from satellite. Theodore Roosevelt is 1,092 feet long. It displaces 100,000 tons. In confined waters near Hormuz, the carrier has maybe 12 miles of maneuvering space. Do the math with me. 12 miles of operational depth against land-based anti-ship missiles with 180-mile range. This is what CNN sees, a $13 billion supercarrier with fighter jets and missile defenses. What Iranian commanders see, a capital ship where an anti-ship ballistic missile launched from Bandar Abbas reaches the carrier group in under 4 minutes. But here's the question. If the geometry favors Iran so heavily, why hasn't Tehran executed the attack they rehearse in propaganda videos every single month? Iranian doctrine, mosaic warfare. Launch 50 Shahed 136 drones from dispersed sites. Cost per drone? $20,000. Follow with 30 C-802 anti-ship cruise missiles at $1.2 million each. Then fire 15 Khalij Fars ballistic missiles diving in at Mach 3. Total threats? 95 missiles and drones. Carrier Strike Group 9's loadout? Approximately 96 SM-6 and ESSM interceptors ready to fire. The Iranian calculation looks simple. Overwhelm the defense with one more threat than they have interceptors. Just one penetrator hitting Theodore Roosevelt's flight deck would trigger energy market chaos and political crisis. Iran knows how to create that scenario, so why haven't they? Go back to April 18, 1988, Operation Praying Mantis. Iranian forces lay naval mines. USS Samuel B. Roberts hits one. 10 sailors injured. The mine blows a 15-foot hole in the hull. 72 hours later, U.S. Navy destroyers obliterate 2 Iranian oil platforms, sink the frigate Sahand, cripple the frigate Sabalan, and destroy 4 fast attack boats. Operation time: 8 hours. U.S. casualties? 0. This wasn't a battle. This was a cost demonstration. Iran learned that touching American steel doesn't result in proportional responses. You damage one ship, the Navy eliminates your capacity to threaten American vessels ever again. Then 3 decades passed. Iran got sophisticated. They calculated missile flight times, mapped defensive coverage gaps, and realized something critical. You don't need to sink a carrier to win. You just need to hit it once. One missile penetrates the flight deck, media saturation within minutes, energy market panic within hours. But Iran miscalculated what the U.S. Navy does when you make their carriers look weak. While Theodore Roosevelt was conducting flight operations, Iranian military planners were building a mathematical model in Tehran. Here's their targeting sequence. Phase 1. Launch 50 Shahed 136 drones from Revolutionary Guard Corps bases. Total cost? $1 million. Flight time, 22 minutes. These are decoys designed to force Americans to expend interceptors. Phase 2. While Aegis radars track drones, fire 30 C-802 cruise missiles. Sea skimming profile. Detection range 18 to 25 miles. Flight time from detection 3 minutes 40 seconds. Phase 3. Fire 15 Khalij-Fars ballistic missiles. They climb to 60,000 feet, then dive vertically at Mach 3. Interception window 18 seconds. Do the subtraction. 95 total threats against a strike group with 96 ready interceptors. Iranian doctrine makes a catastrophic assumption. If they damage Theodore Roosevelt, American political will collapses. They assume the American response will be proportional. That assumption ignores everything that happened in 1988. Look at what Iran is betting on: that hitting a carrier is worth losing their entire coastal defense network, that tactical surprise equals strategic success. This is the void in Iranian planning, because the United States doesn't do proportional responses when you target capital ships carrying 5,000 American sailors. Enter Carrier Air Wing 11. Let me show you what happens when Iran launches Phase 1. 600 miles south, an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye from Carrier Airborne Early Warning Squadron 117, VAAW-117, the Wallbangers, is orbiting at 25,000 feet. Its ANPY-9 radar tracks 2,000 contacts simultaneously. Detection range 350 miles. The second those 50 Shahed 136 drones leave Iranian airspace, the Hawkeye sees them. Data link transmission 0.3 seconds. Every ship in Carrier Strike Group 9 now has the complete tactical picture. Outer defense layer. SM-6 missiles loaded in Mk-41 vertical launch systems aboard USS Lake Champlain CG-57 and USS Russell DDG-59. Look at the SM-6 specifications. Weight 3,300 pounds. Thrust 13,500 pounds. Acceleration 0 to Mach 3.5 in 11 seconds. This is computational physics solved 1,000 times per second by the Aegis weapons system. The SM-6 doesn't chase threats. It calculates an intercept point in three-dimensional space, accounting for target velocity, wind, and Earth's curvature. Then it arrives there before the threat does. Phase 1 result: 50 drones launched. 48 intercepted by SM-6 beyond 120 miles. 2 penetrators reach the middle layer, middle defense layer. Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, ESSM. Each ESSM weighs 620 pounds with an 86-pound blast fragmentation warhead. Watch what happens at detonation. Explosive velocity 26,000 feet per second. Fragmentation cone creating over 1,500 lethal fragments, moving faster than rifle bullets. The 2 remaining drones shredded at 14 miles out. Now Phase 2 arrives. 30 C-802 cruise missiles sea skimming at 600 miles per hour. Close-in weapons system, Phalanx CWIS, a 20mm Gatling cannon firing 4,500 rounds per minute. That's 75 depleted uranium penetrators per second. 75 rounds per second, creating a defensive wall of metal. Engagement range 2 miles. That's 600 rounds downrange before the missile closes. The Phalanx aims at the space the missile is about to occupy. The missile flies into a cloud of tungsten traveling at 3,600 feet per second. Fire Controlman Second Class Marcus Chen executes this entire sequence from his console. He's 23 years old from San Diego. He joined the Navy because his dad was a sailor. He maintains radar systems during 12-hour shifts in 115-degree temperatures inside the Combat Information Center. He doesn't make policy decisions, he executes the math. And because he executes that math with zero margin for error, You paid $3.47 per gallon for gas this week instead of $7.50. American deterrence doesn't come from invincibility. It comes from mathematical certainty that touching our steel costs more than any adversary can afford to pay. Iran knows Theodore Roosevelt is theoretically vulnerable near Hormuz. What they've also calculated, quietly, is what happens after the first missile hits. That's not a threat. That's a physics demonstration, backed by Operation Praying Mantis and every carrier deployment since. Iran threatens carriers because threatening is free. Firing costs everything. If this breakdown of deterrence mathematics changed how you think about carrier operations, hit that like button. Drop math in the comments. Next time you fill up your tank, remember, 5,000 American volunteers are standing watch on Theodore Roosevelt right now. Sleep well. The math has been done. The watch is set.